gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the one and only, the human turret, one of the best airs to ever do it. Give it up for the world champ himself, Sam LaRue, a.k.a. Octane. We got another world champ in the building, the best analysis in the business. Give it up for Christopher Duarte, Parasite. We got the Slayer, the multi-world champion, a multi-champion, a legend and icon to Call of Duty space. He's got his camera up today, ladies and gentlemen, with the webcam on. And then, of course, we got the executive producer, Mr. Benjay Nassim. Gentlemen, what's going on, man? How we all doing? How we feeling? Good set of matches today, no?
Some surprises, but, you know, some fun game fives.
No surprises.
No, great song by Radiohead.
What was the biggest surprise to you, Benjay? What was the biggest surprise to you?
We'll get to it. I think the third series is the biggest surprise to me, but we're getting an interesting spot. I think the standings right now do not look anything like I predicted, and a number of teams are going to get buys in this minor tournament that I just did not see coming. Like Carolina and Boston are probably going to skip that first round, and that's massive for them.
Yeah, I'm down to take a look at the standings today. We'll take a look at the standings, you know, at the end after we go over all the matches, and we'll see what's going on here. Pat, what's going on with you, Pat? You doing all right?
I'm doing all right, Tom. What was the crumble lineup?
Listen, there was a raspberry butter cake cookie today, which I think put TJ into another dimension, bro, because TJ Haley looked unbelievable today.
I had such a bad read on the lineup, bro. Such a bad read.
Hey, be like that, Sam. What gave it away, Sam? What did you think? Was it the eggnog?
It was the eggnog, Tom. Eggnog tres leches. That just doesn't sound good.
Be like that, Sam. How you doing, Sam? You doing all right?
I'm great, man. I'm doing great. My ball knowledge is on another level today.
I like that, Sam. I like that. Your ball knowledge is on another level every day, Sam. You know?
Oh my God, Tom, stop.
Absolutely. Hey, Sam, Duarte, how are you? You doing all right, Duarte?
Yeah, I'm good. I got a haircut.
Nice, man. You look good.
That, yeah, matches were good. A lot of surprises. I'm just ready to talk about one team specific because I'm kind of mind blown. I've never seen them this down bad in their life.
Yeah,
I think the chat knows exactly who we're going to talk about.
My bad, Vegas Falcons.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll definitely get into it. We definitely got to talk about Vegas Falcons a little bit. We'll talk about everybody. Just a little FYI for the show today. Yesterday's Flank episode got flagged for about 25 clips. And I don't want to lose my channel, ladies and gentlemen. I do not want to lose my channel. Still trying to figure it out with the league and with YouTube what's going on, but they're striking my clips, man. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to show clips today. So we're going to run the show without clips. We'll still go through each series and give our thoughts, but I know usually we'll pull the clips and break some stuff down. So, you know, that's going to be a little harder to do without showing clips. So, you know, it is what it is, guys. We've done this before. We ran into this problem before. And we'll see what happens here in the future. But nonetheless, we're going to have a great show, man. I know that sucks, but we'll have a phenomenal show. We'll go over all these matches, give you guys a recap, give our thoughts, and get it going, man. It is what it is, right, guys? It is what it is. I know you guys have had problems in the watch parties as well, right? You, Sam, and Ben, you guys are getting striked as well from the watch parties.
Every VOD that I've had since the league started has been copyright striked.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get worried now, man, because I'm getting emails, and apparently if you get enough flags, they will remove your YouTube channel. So,
wait, so you guys are getting flagged for just doing the watch party and talking about it?
I get flagged 5 minutes into the watch party just from like an intro song or something.
Have you guys talked to like Nate or talked to Scum? Or
yeah, I think everybody has
I
an
think
issue.
everybody's getting flagged.
Yeah, I think everybody's getting hit.
Yeah, the league is fucking trolling, bro.
It's not the league.
And yeah, it's not the CDL. It's not the league. I think it's just the way that YouTube's their database? Yeah, their database, their AI. Like it's just picking up everything. And I don't know. I thought we were whitelisted. They thought we were whitelisted, but yeah, we'll figure that out more here in the near future. But yeah, no clips today. But we'll hop into the first series of the day. First series of the day, we had Toronto Ultra going up against the Vegas Falcons. This one ended in a 3-0 finish in favor of Toronto Ultra, so able to get a nice sweep here against the Vegas Falcons. Close map 2, went all the way down to around 11. I thought the respawns to Falcons, you know, they're doing a good job getting their kills, but just some things on the map that, again, they need help with right now. Looking a little shaky. Then we take a look here at the stat sheet. We got Kicks with a 1.04 today. I feel like Kicks is the only guy for Vegas who's always positive, or at least the guy trying to shoot back. But everybody else with a 0.9, 0.8, and then the other side, a 1.37 from Kleenex today. He has been unreal for Toronto Ultra. He was our match MVP as well. Blew the votes out of the water there as he had 46 out of 48 votes. But we'll start with you, Sam. Toronto Ultra, they take care of Vegas. What were your thoughts on the series?
The result was expected, but the way that it happened kind of pissed me off. Falcons are talented, man. You kind of touched on it a little bit. They put themselves in really winnable spots in both of these respawns. Even the Surge, we'll talk about the Surge, but all these respawns are putting themselves in great spots, and they just can't really seem to make the obvious play. And I tweeted that, and Clay said that you know, they are relatively new to respawn, so like they'll get it smoothed out in the future. But every series they play, they're 0-3 right now. But I mean, genuinely, every single one of these series could have gone game 4, game 5. Like all 3 skylines they've now played in the CDL are winnable. The round 11 absolute blunder from King of Body was something to watch for sure. It seems like they can't really make the play that's right in front of them. They do all the hard stuff, and then like when they got to block a spawn or when they have to push out a cut with kills or just like the kind of straightforward thing, they don't really do it, and it's losing them maps.
I think that's my biggest concern, Sam, is we see so many mistakes that they already made last week. So you're just thinking that they've talked about it and they're going to fix it. I guess maybe it's a little harder said than done. Like sometimes it's hard to get out of bad habits.
Every situation is different, so it's hard to figure out.
I also think since their entire region lacks the experience. Also, by the way, shout out the flank. I got the beanie right here.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I saw this to my side. I'm like, I'm gonna wear it. But anyways, just talking about that team, since they don't have like the experience that other regions have in the respawn game mode. Listen, I know I have faith in Clay, and I have faith that I know that he's telling them that what they need to do and how to execute it, and he's trying to make them better. But like when it comes down to it, he's not in their ear during the game. And so that's where I feel like if they had somebody with a lot more experience, maybe somebody from the NA region or even EU region that has a lot more experience in COD, being able to like communicate with them and tell them like what they should do in the scenario to make those obvious plays a little bit easier for them, they might actually be able to make those plays. But right now, like with their entire team kind of lacking that sort of ball knowledge and them not having that voice in their ear whenever they're playing, like somebody like Clay, they're kind of just, I feel like they're going to continue to make these mistakes. And that whole process of them getting better and making those obvious plays, as Sam likes to say, it's just going to be a longer process. And I don't know if it's going to be if it's going to be a 1-season thing.
I mean, they're digging themselves a hole too, right? Like, I mean, you can't really afford to like start off as slow as they are. I mean, granted, I mean, it is early. They can still get wins, but if they keep getting losses here and they can't get a dub on the board, it's going to be rough for them to kind of bring this back. It's not going to get easier.
You can't experiment in the CDL. That's just the reality of it. Like you don't have the luxury to be like, oh, let's test this roster this week. It's the same reason we don't see substitutes and like people being more like trying to experiment. You just can't. You know, once you fall behind, you're stuck, and then you're always playing catch up, and you're most likely not going to catch up. You talked about it in the offseason. I mean, I think to your point about like Kicks being good, I think this is more of like, can one of these guys compete to keep on the roster? Because we kind of were talking about it. These guys should have started in challengers. You know, maybe they make a move where they only keep one of them and they, you know, replace with some other, but they try and keep like the people who can compete on the team. Kicks for me is the only one.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to change the subject to Toronto, but if you had something on.
I was going to say, also when it comes to the Falcons, it's really up to them. Like at the end of the day, it's their roster. It's like the owners and stuff like that. It's their project in terms of like how they want to try to develop these players and how long of a time they want to give them. If they want to see like immediate success, like sure, they could probably buy out teams. They can do whatever the fuck they want in that nature, or maybe even keep one and then go from there. But
that's bad for the league, though.
Yeah, if they genuinely want to like sit there and build this team, yeah, we can sit there and harp on them and say, yeah, it's going to take a long time. But if they don't care that it's going to take a long time and they're willing to invest in these guys, then hey, let them develop, let them do whatever they want. These guys are clear shooters, but I mean, I just don't see this like sort of game sense thing clicking in their head. And on top of that, we've only really seen them play like a handful of the maps. I feel like we see Skyline Hardpoint like every series.
That's true. That is true.
Exactly. So like when it comes down to the other maps and things that they veto, it's like, bro, what's going to happen when people stop playing them on maps that they're somewhat comfortable in? And if they start getting worse and worse maps in their pool, like if people actually give a fuck, then I don't know what kind of side we're going to see.
They didn't even pick. I mean, to be fair,
Toronto
like,
picked Skyline.
Toronto picked it because So I mean, I think the Vegas strat this year to me are pretty clear. Like they've got 4 players on this team. They got 4 players on the Challengers team. And their goal is to try and ideally get a whole team of Saudi players that can play at this level. If they can't, that's their eval in the offseason.
Yeah,
so,
but you think they go the whole season just experimenting with that? Like they just throw away all of this first year?
They might not care.
Unless that's what's so bad to the league for me is like when an org can just come in and just not give a fuck to just experiment all year and waste a spot essentially. Like that sucks.
I mean, it's wasting a spot in terms of the competitive aspect, but it's not wasting a spot in terms of like fan service and like fandom and stuff like that. And just like there are probably a lot of Saudi players and Saudi people that watch. Like whenever like XNID turns the stream on, like he's got like 500 viewers and it's all like Saudi people. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but you're wasting the 12th spot in the CDL.
No, I get it when it comes to I get it when it comes to competition, but when it comes to viewership and stuff like that, like they're trying to like build something. You know what I mean? So if it's going to take the roster not being the best, but eventually being better and better, and like starting some sort of like fandom, then hey, that might be what they want to do. But yeah, I mean, I see your point.
They'd be allowed to do that in the CDL.
I mean, to be fair, the people that own that spot before were not exactly giving it 100% go at the CDL either. So
yeah,
I'm not saying they should have had a spot either. I've been saying Vegas should have
100%. You have
responsibility in the league, or ability to be in the league. But I wanted to ask a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Because it might come off wrong, but I'm just gonna say it. Was Envoy holding Kleenex back last year, like playstyle wise?
I don't think so.
I feel like I know it's only been 3 matches.
I think he just had a rough year, Pat.
And I'm not saying this is like Envoy's fault. Or I'm saying like them two as a duo, SMG duo. Like I feel like Kleenex looks more unleashed right now on this roster than he did last year. I don't know about you guys' thoughts.
My thoughts on it, I'll be honest, is I think, Ben, what are you poking me? I think Kleenex, this game fits him. Just like the Omni movement and the way that this game is played, and just kind of like how you actually need to play as a sub in this game. Like if you're a submachine gun player in this game with a Jackal, you have to play aggro. Like, you have to play super aggressive, and it kind of just fits into his play style. Envoy did have a rough year last year, just like a lot of inconsistencies, like a lot of ups and downs. I don't know if that really ties into Kleenex. But I definitely think in terms of like the movement and the way that the game is played, like the gunplay, like this definitely fits Kleenex.
This game is Black Ops 4 without stim and diving. Like that's literally what this game plays like in terms of movement. It fits him. He was very good at that game. Also, like I don't know if it's necessarily Envoy holding him back. It could have been the game. But like we can speculate all we want. But like I think having Joe on the team probably helps Kleenex even more because Joe is fucking aggressive as shit. And I don't know if we've had a sub that plays as aggressive as like Joe paired up with Kleenex in a long time, if at all. So like he probably just has so much more room to kind of do whatever he wants to do because he knows that Joe is selfless and Kleenex would probably focus on his own game a lot more.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you one question about Vegas. If they were to make a change, Pat, because you were saying, right, you don't want them to really just kind of waste a year. You want to see them make moves. Do you mix and match these guys with like NA guys, or like how do you do it? Like what do you do with this squad? Because I feel like mix and matching would be weird. I feel
I would blow it up for sure. But my question was like maybe they're just trying to see if one or two of these people or these guys on this team can be the not the glue, but like what they build around, so to speak. I would blow it up, but maybe they want to know if Kicks could be like their superstar.
I'm curious how good their English is too. Like in terms of like being able, is it good?
They play and like call out pretty effectively.
Some of them have good English, better than others. I just don't think that's realistic, Pat. And I wonder
blow it up or the keeping one.
Blow it up. I think the interesting dynamic, and this is the like Clayster angle in this is if Clay identifies an NA player that's maybe underrated that he thinks could really help them out, is he going to be able to say, hey, if I bring this NA player and I pair him for 2 or 3 of these guys, or we're going to take a level up? Can he win that argument internally to help them pivot a little bit from this project? That I don't think any of us really know the answer to.
Well,
and that's really key to what you're saying, to be honest.
I know Clay is a coach, but is he like? There's still a head coach and a GM, right, on this org?
Yeah, there's multiple coaches. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's more of like what Clay's position on this team really is. We don't know. I don't know. You guys may.
I mean, he's a coach. I mean, I think he's just helping out as much as he can. I mean, I think he's just putting in input. I mean, it's probably hard for Clay too to kind of teach these guys. Sam, I mean, you said that Clay said that they're new to Respawn, which...
Yeah, he tweeted me like a year and a half, 2 years or something.
That's a crazy comm when they're in the CDL, that they're new to Respawn.
His tweet was they're like a year and a half, 2 years, and that they're going to smooth out the fundies. That's what he tweeted.
The whole scene over there didn't play Respawn 2 years ago. That's what Clay's saying. Like, these players and the Challengers players that is on their Academy team and other people in region, like, it was an S&D only game on their side for a very long time, up until the middle of the CDL. Like, they just not have developed the building blocks on the Respawn front. And look, some of these players might not figure it out. It seems like maybe Kicks might be one of the guys who has. I know X-Men's been grinding a lot of 8s. I saw him playing like multiple series last night. A couple of them will figure it out. I think, Pat, you're not wrong. I think a couple of these guys are not going to make it, and the best version of them is a mixed team. I just don't know if they're going to deviate from that strategy at all this season.
I mean,
they may trial 8 players.
I will say the only thing that worries me is I want to at least see these guys adapting and like fixing things, right? I mean, they're like, for instance, a perfect example, Skyline P3 to P4. I have seen them fuck up that rotation probably 7 or 8 times already. Like they fuck it up every single time where they're just picking up the wrong lanes or nobody's holding and everybody's pushing out. I mean, Sam, we've critiqued them a lot on that exact hill, like a million times. Yeah. I just worry because I don't see them adapting. It looks like when you're watching them play, they're not even thinking about it, right? Which I think is a problem. Like some of these things need to be thought about. Like these mistakes need to be fixed. And if they're not being fixed, if they're not getting better, then it's just going to be a long year, man.
That's what I'm saying, though. Clay's probably telling them what to do and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he's not in the game with them. They have to think for themselves. And that whole instinct that comes with like how to hold the setup or how to adapt, because I'm sure they're getting into the same scenario, but like they have to adapt at the way they're being attacked on like these fronts, and they're probably they're not used to it.
Mm-hmm. And then on the other side, unless Ben, you got something else to say with Vegas?
It may be difficult. Again, this is because you just don't know, region's not developed. Like the composure, the like kind of IQ aspect of them is kind of difficult to teach if people don't have it instinctually from the competition that's kind of gotten to this point, and that might be a big part of the eval. It's like a couple of these guys might be able to shoot straight, but they're not capable of like making decisions quick enough at this level.
I think they are capable of it. I
don't know that for a fact, though.
No, I don't know it for a fact. I mean, I would love to see what it sounds like in their camp, like how their practices sound and kind of what they're talking about. I would love to know like what actually is talked about in their practices. But I'm sure Clay's bringing up a lot of the things that we're bringing up. I mean, there's no like Clay's been around for a long time. Go ahead, Pat.
I mean, they could always learn. That's the problem. Is like they may hear what Clay's saying and agree. This is what I've seen through a lot of players throughout the years, right? Like. Everyone knows the right play, right? But that doesn't mean they make the right play in the moment. And I think that's where this team is going to struggle. Like they could go back in their session and be like, oh, I agree. That's the right play. That's what we should do. But when it comes down to it, when you're in the heat of the moment in the match, like if it doesn't click for you to just make that right play, you're just going to keep relapsing in the same.
Bro, they're not even bad.
No, they're not. They should have won the Surge. King of Body hit the zip line in round 11.
We know they're good at Surge.
None of us are saying they're bad. We've all been pretty unanimous that we just think these guys are tossing away the end of maps. Like
the stem of my frustration with them is that the fact that they are in these winnable maps. Like they're not. None of the maps that they have played have been complete blowouts. Like they're all 250, 180s, 250, 225. Like they're in the maps, and then the situations come where they're like, okay, I spawn here. They are hitting the front of the hill. I have to hold this spawn. And then they all run forward and die and flip. Yeah. And it's happened, like Tom said, like 7 fucking times on Skyline P3.
So many
but
times.
You can say that, Sam, about so many teams.
I know. I get
talent,
that.
But they just can't put it together.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. But I think the number one thing of this whole conversation is what Chris said, is that they have played Skyline and Protocol Hardpoint exclusively. We haven't seen them. I don't think we've seen them play Red Card. I don't think they've played Rewind. Like these are the maps that they have played in every series, and they're making the same mistakes. Yeah. That's what's worrying me, is that we haven't even seen them branch out of their comfort zone when clearly they're still fucking up the maps that they prefer to play. Which, again, to Pat's point, is the whole league. Everybody does that. But
to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
And also,
I think their ability to get better is a lot quicker for the other teams than it is for Falcons.
Yeah, me too, Pat. I would love to know what their practice looks like. I'm curious too.
Do you think their map like win percentage is just so biased to one map? Like they're just getting like, that's the map they find the most success on in scrim, so that they just think, hey, we need to just continue to replay it in matches?
Probably. And they're probably just trolling in matches and just doing things. Like it's a lot different when you're in a scrim compared to a real match.
Also, for the people that are watching or people commenting, I'm sorry, we're not going to come on every flank after a Falcons match and say, give them time. Like, I'm not going to do that. So, like, we're going to rightfully critique them for all their mistakes and their lack of improvement. Like,
if you're in the league, it means you come ready. Like,
I just think, as always, like,
you can't just say give them time every single time. We don't want to
tweak about 2 weeks of online matches, and we knew these guys were as stacked that coming in. We knew these guys, by the way, didn't start scrimming until the week of the first fucking match. So, like, we got to give these guys some time. If we're going to have this blow up conversation, I want to have it after the major and see kind of where they net. But I think these guys are, they're in a better spot than I thought they would be in, but they just got to learn to close some of these series.
We'll see how they are moving forward. But let's swap over to the Toronto Ultra side. Pat, I know you were bringing up Kleenex, and I don't disagree with you, Pat. The way that Joe DeCeves and Kleenex play off each other, I think Kleenex mentioned this in an interview last week. Didn't he mention that he's been having to slow down and like kind of like change the way he's playing because of how fast Joe DeCeves is, and that he's been kind of adapting to it, which I think is kind of crazy. because Kleenex is so fast.
Yeah.
So if he feels like he has to slow down, I feel like that's a compliment to Jodeci's, because Jodeci's is over here dropping above a 1.0, and this guy likes to hit that left stick down, bro. This guy likes to move.
And it's probably super beneficial because we've talked about it in the past. Like Kleenex, in some situations, Kleenex needs to slow down, right?
Yeah.
Like you just be throwing shit away. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's a double win, but it is kind of crazy that he even feels that.
Yeah, and I think mechanically too, Joe's a great player. I mean, I was a big Jodeci's fan before the league started, so I was looking at Joe to come into this team and turn some heads. And this is also a great team to come into, because I also think the ARs are great on this team. I think Beans kind of adds like that fast aggressive like AR role. And then obviously Insight is kind of more. And I always thought Beans was a little more on the slow side. Duarte, I remember you told me that like no, like Beans is like fast. Like you had mentioned that to me.
Yeah,
in the flanking.
that guy's a sprinter, bro.
Yeah, and I see it. I see it now, and I see the chows, and bro, I like what I see from Beans, man. Like this guy's been going crazy. And then of course you have Insight, who's kind of just like the best back pocket for them. Like he's just a super fundamentally sound player. Like he pretty much just plays the game to a T. So if anything ever goes south, like Insight's there to kind of be the backbone of the team. So overall, like the team composition, like Toronto Ultra is flowing right now, dude. Like they look really, really good.
I like their team comp a lot.
Would love to get your guys' opinions, Ben. What do you think about Toronto right now? I mean, where's your head at with these guys?
I mean, I think the best part of the game is their S&D. I think the respawn's pretty good, but the perfect start in S&D is exactly what you want. So I think if you keep this momentum going, I think they're in a good position to get obviously they're going to get a bye for this minor tournament. They might get a chance to actually win that tournament. And be a factor at this first event. I know we've talked a lot about the elite teams, but I think Toronto's got a good chance with this form right now to be a real factor on Sunday in Madrid.
Who would have thought Ben Beans is winning S&Ds after winning one in like a whole month in last year?
Yeah,
it's so weird because he was good at search on Boston.
Yeah, but you're only as good.
And last year he couldn't get one.
You're only as good as your team. You're only as good as your team. I mean, it is a team
I'm
game.
hoping he's listening. That's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. We got Dan Ghosty in the chat. Got some pros in here. What's going on, everybody? What about you, Sam? What do you think about Toronto Ultra on their end? I think they look really, really good. Shout out to Kleenex, my fantasy player. He's my superstar right now.
God damn it, man. I mean, you guys kind of hit the nail on the head for me. I thought that they were one of my favorite teams coming in from the preseason. I thought their roster composition was perfect. I thought the roles hit really well, and if you're going to be good at search and destroy, that's probably like my number one thing. Having good S&D is always important when you are a good team. So the fact that they're perfect, like Ben said, kind of is best.
When do they
scenario.
play the Thieves?
I don't think they play them this stage.
They play them in the tournament.
They may play them in the tournament. They don't play the Thieves until February 23rd.
Is that like every team's litmus test right now? Like, are we just like waiting for them to play the Thieves and see how good they do?
I mainly want it because of the off-season beef, but the owner. He was like, we'll have a better roster than the Thieves this year, or whatever.
Oh, I remember that. I do remember he said that actually. I remember that. Yeah.
In a weird way, bro. They exchanged players that made both teams like potentially like pretty good. Like Toronto getting Joe has probably made their offseason, saved their offseason and picking up Ben. And then for Thieves, they made the super team. So like in a weird way, it's kind of worked out for both squads.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else have any final thoughts on the series? I mean, overall, pretty comfortable for Toronto. I think for maybe the S&D. I think the S&D probably could have gone Falcons way, to be honest with you.
An absolute round 11 troll.
It was a troll. I mean, they had control of the whole map, and I think King Abadi just blacked out. He tried to make a play up zip on protocol, which I mean, it was a free first blood for Toronto. It was a ballsy play for sure from King Abadi. I think just focusing on making some more consistent plays, especially in around 11, would help them out a ton. But any other final thoughts, guys, on the series?
Nope.
All right. Let's move on. Good job to the Toronto Ultra to get the 3-0 victory. Now we move on to the second series of the day. We got the OpTic Texas going up against the Los Angeles Guerrillas Genomates. This one goes all the way down to a map number 5 where OpTic Texas were able to close it out. OpTic were able to take the first 2 maps. Then obviously LAG. They win the next 2, trying to go for the reverse sweep, but OpTic Texas are able to get the W there in the protocol S&D. We'll scroll down, take a look at the stat sheet here. I think definitely the biggest nail on the head here is Dashy, man. This guy, Bruce, has been unreal for OpTic this year so far.
Well, it's kind of wild. Like, Brandon's always good, but Brandon, like, I still remember back in MW2 when Hook was still on the OpTic Texas roster, I still remember Brandon being, like, absurd towards the end of the year when they had Hook on his team. Like, I feel like, people talk about how Shotzi and, like, Hook and their dynamic is like pretty good. They, they're a good sub duo, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like when Hook is on this roster, I feel like Brandon also plays a lot better. And I feel like it's because Hook is just fucking flying and Brandon is just king fucking iron.
Yeah.
So he's just
Hook went 11, he went like 11 and 30 or so. He went 16 and 34 first map. Hook. He had a dash. He with a 1.37. He was 41 and 30.
Did Brandon play bad last season? Like,
No.
But right now he's playing like Black Ops 4 Brandon, bro.
Brandon plays
going
absurd
crazy
when Hook's on his team. When Hook's on his team, Brandon Lee fries like hard.
I'm asking, what about last year?
No, he's
Brandon
good.
was
He played good last year.
Brandon was good. I'm not saying he was bad. Where is this? What are you talking about? I'm saying when Hook is on this team, like, yeah, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, Hook Shotzi dynamic, but like I feel like Hook also feeds this guy.
I mean, I'm seeing little stints of Black Ops 4 Bruce. Like last year, he was kind of like hill oriented, kind of played around the hill, which was good. It was great. Right now, he's doing everything. This guy's all over the map. Hill time, slaying out. He's clutching 1v2s and shit, 1v1s. Like he's been unreal. Like I'm seeing Black Ops 4 Dashy right now. That's what I'm seeing. What about you, Pat? What do you think? What do you think so far after seeing the stat sheet? We got everybody negative here from OpTic Texas, except for Bruce, and on the other side, a 1.24 from Kismet, which is also really good to see. But Pat, what did you think of the series?
I mean, we are playing a Black Ops 4 Cold War hybrid game, so it's not really surprising to see Brandon succeed on this game. But I agree. I've always said it and always thought it. Dashy's the guy you play around on this OpTic Texas squad. He's that guy. But yeah, gritty win. I actually thought LA might have had it when they started coming back, when they won those, I think, 3 rounds in a row in game, or 2 or 3 rounds in a row in game 5. But yeah, Kismet is back to the Bulldog as well.
That's definitely good to see.
This team's gonna need that. Yeah, but this team's gonna need it. I know they're still winless, but like they're gonna rely on Kiz being back to a star on this squad.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. No, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Gentlemates is lucky that Bolt is map. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like this team, I said it before, their S&D is not that good. The only map they've like been good at S&D in is Volt, and then their hard point is my ass, and they've only won 1. So listen, they've pushed a couple game 5s, and sure, they could have got those wins on the board, but like this team is just wildly inconsistent. Priest had a pretty good series here. Yeah. So that also helped them a lot. But even with Kismet overperforming and them pretty much outslaying OpTic for the most part, they still couldn't get a win on the board. So like I don't know what this team's win condition is.
They are.
Go ahead, Ben. This team got a majority of the first bloods in both maps and tossed it away. They're on like around in the high 50s first blood win percentage so far, and it's obviously a sample size of like 7 maps, but like they just throw away so many advantages in S&D. And yeah, I feel you. The map pool seems really small. It seems like a respawn sometimes they get blown away, but like I just can't count on this team to like clutch these tight situations.
Sam, what did you think about the series?
Advantages when they get them in search.
What did you think, LaRue? What are your thoughts?
Fuck. I mean, Brandon, you guys kind of touched on. I think he's potentially the best player in the game right now, next to his teammate. Dude, I don't know what the fuck Gentlemates is doing. I'm sorry. Like, Chris said it best, bro. What is their win condition? We had a series yesterday where LAT did everything in their power to lose, still won it. We had a series today. Kismet is back in MW2 champs form. I mean, this guy was winning every gunfight imaginable. Preston stepped up to the plate, was slaying out of his mind, had a great series. Still fucking lost. They had Kyler dropping a fucking 0.7. Like, what do you need to win?
They are lucky.
What order of events has to occur in order for Gentlemates to win a series?
They are so lucky that Bolt controls the map.
I don't under fucking stand what I am watching.
They are lucky that Bolt controls literally a map.
I don't even like the way they play Volt Control, and apparently they're winning it over and over again. Some of the plays
that's what I'm saying. If that was not a map, if that was not a map in the rotation, like they're just getting 3-0'd. It seems like.
I don't know, man.
I mean, yeah. I was surprised they won the Skyline Hardpoint. I thought it was gonna be a 3-1 after the control.
It was a little bit of I'm gonna call reset cheese on that one. I'm not gonna lie.
OpTic did have a good start
on that one. Dude, I just like it kind of impressed me out of OpTic because of how poorly Kyler played map 1, and they still managed to win it. I think he literally started like 5-0 and ended whatever he ended. Like
yeah, that was
16
crazy.
Whatever the fuck. He started out great.
He started out so
hot. I thought he was about to go insane. But I mean, OpTic, this was a good win. But again, I'm still concerned for Gentlemates. I don't know what they need to do in a series. Like all of the win conditions that we talked about when this roster was being built was like, we need Kiz to slay. We need Preston to step up to that form. We got it here. And they still couldn't close against like, I mean, it was just like, it was a gritty series for sure. But I mean, I'm concerned for this team
At the
moving
very
forward.
least, they're not getting blown out. But like I said, if ball control is not a map,
trying to give them wins.
I really agree with Sam. I just don't know how you look at this weekend if you're on LAG and you think, bro, these guys have the teeniest fucking map pool, and somehow like these series are still going to game 5. They're won 2 of like 8 hard points they played. They've won like
Benji,
1
go
of
hit a putt so chat stops fucking tweaking.
No, I'm not gonna do it just because the chat says it. That's not how this works.
I tried. I tried, chat.
Throw the tomatoes, man. Throw the tomatoes.
I'm just worried because this is the remaining schedule, bro. Like this is what they got upcoming. They got Cloud9, Toronto, and Vegas. Like I think there is a world where they lose to Cloud9 and Toronto when they get back after that minor tournament. And then they're sitting here at 0-6, and their only one is from Vegas.
I mean, I'm not going to say I don't have faith in them completely.
They're looking like a bottom 4 team, bro.
I'm not going to say they don't have an opportunity to take wins because they took up. They're like taking OpTic to last map. They've gone last map a couple times. Like they can win the series. They're in positions to. They're just not doing it. So like, they just got to close.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think Troy had anything to do with this team? Because obviously Troy was with these guys for a little while.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, not having Troy there in the back pocket to help these guys out. I'm
Are
sure.
Are you only saying that because Troy is literally in chat?
No. I
I
really don't. We were talking about during the watch party because I was getting some super chats and people were talking about it as well. They were asking me like, what do you think? Like Troy's obviously not with the team. Like, do you think that's having an effect on the team? And I think it does. Like if you have a good coach there and you got good chemistry and you know, he's micromanaging every little thing. Like I don't really know what's going on in the camp when they're practicing and stuff. But I definitely think Troy was a big loss for these guys.
I think we should ask Troy. Yo, Troy, do you think you were a big part of the team success?
That's crazy.
Press 1 in chat if yes.
He's too
Press
modest
2
for
in
that,
chat
bro.
if no.
He's not taking the bait on that.
He's too modest for that.
I'm just trolling him. I'm trolling.
And then of course on the other side, I mean, this is the second match we've seen with Hook. One thing I do like about Hook is even when he's having a rough map, he's still trying to make plays. Where sometimes if somebody's like double neg or triple neg, like they slow down and they start playing like a gimp, you know. Like I feel like Hook, he's always running it down, like always. Like it doesn't matter if he's 15-30 or if he's 30-20. Like this guy likes to make plays, and he has a lot of confidence in himself. He talks about it all the time. You know, when he's playing, like he has that confidence to make plays, even when things aren't going right. So, what did you guys think about Hook's stint? Like the first couple matches here. I mean, what did you think? With having Hook in here.
Both sides of him. I think we've seen the first series where he came in and fucking played out of his mind, and then we saw map 1 of this series where he went double negative. Like I think we've seen both ends of the Kyler spectrum so far. But I still love the fit for their team. I think it's again. I think genuinely the number one thing about Kyler for this specific team is that he calls out very well. His comms are fucking awesome. And number 2 is I think he plays off of Ant extremely well. I think those are the two most important things with this roster change. And I think going forward, OpTic is going to be fine. They've had gritty series. Ken, I think, is not playing up to his own standard right now, which in the future, I'm assuming he'll, get back to how he normally plays. But with the way that Brandon is playing, this guy's on MVP form right now, and so is Ant. So I think if you have 2 of probably the top 4 players in the game right now on your roster, you're sitting pretty. There's no world in which I don't see OpTic being good for the rest of the season.
The one data point right now for OpTic that I'm not a fan of that they can clean up over the next 3 weeks is that they have played 6 S&Ds and only got a majority of first bloods in one of those 6. So I just don't find that sustainable. It's early, obviously, but they're not doing an effective job of getting first bloods. They're clutching 3v4s, which is great. But at some point, it's going to come bite them in the ass later in the split.
And just to throw some gas out there to Shotzi again, bro, he's really, really good at this game. Like
he's the best player in the game.
Yeah, this is another game that I was saying it with Kleenex, but the same applies here to Shotzi. Like this game was made for him. Like, he's so hard to kill when he gets pushed up into like power positions or crucial positions. Like he does such a good job just being a nuisance and staying alive. Like he opens up the map for his team a lot. He opens it up. He creates a lot of space. He's a hard kill. Sam, I know during the watch party you were like, Shotzi's an art. Surely it should be easy to clear him out, but it's not. He's constantly switching lanes and bouncing around the map. He's hard to keep track of. So he's been unreal for these guys. He's been nuts. Yep. But anybody else got any thoughts on OpTic or LAG or anything in this series? I mean, it was a close series. Went all the way down to a map 5 S&D here, which again, I think LAG and S&D need some work. But OpTic were able to close it out. Any final thoughts on this one?
They're good, but I'm more so excited to see them play LAT. because LAT, I feel like they've been the best team so far, but both teams have had kind of a couple gritty matches. But yeah, I'm excited to watch them play that because I feel like whenever those two teams match up, we'll get a bigger picture in terms of like what each team needs to work on going forward.
I'm taking Scrap and Hydra over Dashy and Shotzi any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Interesting. January 19th. That is the matchup between those two teams.
But they could still play before, right?
Week.
In the tournament?
Not next week. It's coming up after the tournament. But it takes up in the tournament, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a holiday break after this weekend. Then we have like a few weeks off, or a couple weeks off.
More than 3. It's like almost a month.
Is it really almost a month off? Holy
shit. It's the 14th, and they're not back till the 10th. So yeah, it's almost a month.
Holy fuck, that's actually crazy. Ben, who else are their matchups coming up? Who's OpTic's match? I know Thieves is coming up on the 19th. Well, what else do we got over there for
Vegas,
OpTic?
Steve's, Toronto. So it's a fun stretch. I think obviously the Vegas one they should be favored, but those other
Toronto are going to be good ones.
It's a good pre-major test for OpTic. You're gonna know where you're at.
What about LAG? Because they're 0-4 right now. Who are they playing? Because they need a W, Pat. They need a fucking win here, bro. I'd be tweaking without a win at this point.
Cloud9, Toronto, Vegas.
Cloud9, Toronto,
they got
Vegas.
one.
Okay. They might be able to get a dub there.
One's not enough to make winners bracket, though, is the problem.
Yeah.
How many game 5s have they lost?
I believe they lost 3.
Two or
they
3.
Lost 2. 2 in game 5, 2 in game 4.
Rocker, they went to game 5. They went to game 5 versus this team. Did they go game 5? No, they almost went game 5 with LAT.
Yeah.
When
It was
does
like
the
1
new
point
control
off.
map come in?
Literally after Sunday. So
after the break.
By Monday.
Bro, I'm not going to lie, yo. You guys are talking about the new control map? I think Hacienda might get vetoed more than Protocol, and we might start seeing Protocol just because people won't play Hacienda.
So our first protocol.
But it's not. Is it coming in for control? Is Hacienda coming in for control or no?
I don't know.
I don't know if it is, bro. That map on control is
It depends if
really
the player.
bad.
It depends if the players just want to put it in for the sake of having a third map.
Bro, they need,
You
That's what
spawn
it comes down
so
if
deep.
you
for
are
the pros in chat, y'all need to go like play all the maps
about
that
to
are
say.
like in the game, and like whichever maps have good points and good spot, like have good points. If there's like something wrong with the spawns or something like that, just lobby to get those fixed. That way, at the very least, you can like start with like good points and then go from there and like try to get better spawns via like talking to the devs and stuff. Because I feel like that's like the main thing that's like important for the game first is like you have to find a map that has good points. Once you have good points, then try to figure the rest out. Because right now, bro, Hacienda is fucking terrible. I think it's worse than Protocol. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean,
I don't know what you
In
guys
control,
are gonna play.
in control, it is for sure.
control,
The
yeah.
spawns are so deep. Like you spawn so far out, you can also just get pinned. Like if you're spawning by like Lambo's side, and you're spawning back there, like by the driveway and shit. Like bro, you can get put in a blender over there if you keep spawning statue just over and over and over again. It plays really weird. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I played Hacienda Control so far, I haven't been the biggest fan. It plays well in Hardpoint, obviously. Great Hardpoint map, and I think it's good in S&D too.
Dan, I just to reiterate what Chris said. Like, if you're going to tell developers and CDL, hey, Hossie is not good, you better have a fucking plan B, because Spencer was pretty clear when he came on the show a few weeks ago that they have to add a third map to the control pool.
That's
so
what I'm saying. It's
if
like
it's not Hossie, it's got to be something else.
If Hossie's that bad, y'all got to go through the maps that are available, including the maps that got added, and be like, okay, these points are fine. Where do people spawn? Oh, the spawns are fucked up. All right, devs, listen, can we get the spawn points here? Because Hossie's just unplayable, bro.
And
Is
there's no way you
that
guys have
easy
played all
to
of this.
do? Is
I'm
it
calling
easy?
Cat, bro. And you guys have sat there and you played every single
Yes,
map
it's
of the game
fucking
on
easy.
control multiple
easy?
times.
I mean,
You like
that's-
ran all fucking
Just
15
changing
maps.
the spawn points, changing the initial spawn points. Like, also, I would suck an actual fucking ginormous one if we got Arsenal in the game,
Jesus.
bro.
I don't know.
Arsenal would be great.
Arsenal would be
before Arsenal.
phenomenal because that'd be good in every game mode.
Arsenal control would actually be good in this game too.
Yeah, and frequency. Any of those. Frequency, Arsenal, give us any of those. We'll take more. The more we can get, the better.
Dan, you're missing Chris's point. You didn't name all of the maps in the game. Chris is saying literally all the maps. And yeah, I know some of them are 2 feet wide. Those ones are auto removed.
Well,
but
obviously
they're-
not all the maps.
But,
like,
but you gotta you have to play all the maps.
They have played all the maps, haven't they?
no, but here's the thing, bro. Like,
But that's-
the way the pros
Right, Chris.
work is like they'll go play the map, and as soon as something is like wrong with it, they won't be like, oh, they'll be like, oh, this is wrong with it, we can't play it. Rather than this is wrong with it, can we get it fixed? You have
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you have some time. If you
Extraction.
just,
Extraction control.
bro,
You don't have time.
you have some time. It's maybe not a lot, but it's something.
Christmas and New Year's is like the longest game dev holiday of the year. Like they
You
definitely
get
don't.
Nah, but the thing is,
to
though,
get
if stuff like
fixes in
that,
100%,
if stuff
yeah.
like that needs fixed. Oh, Dan's saying we've asked, brother. Brother Dan, I know you guys. You'll be like, yeah, this needs change. When you say you asked, do you actually sit there and be like, yo, we need this changed now? Yo, Spencer, go and tell these guys we need this fixed now, right now. Go now.
He makes a good point, though. He said rewind beat point has been a known issue since day 3 of map testing. So clearly things aren't being updated at a fast enough pace.
To be clear, what Dan means,
says that he messaged a dev, but like, dude, you as an individual messaging one dev is not going to do anything. You need somebody that's lobbying for the whole league to go and be like, yo, this needs changed now.
It's almost as if I presented a solution about this a few weeks ago.
NJ PowerPoint, bring it up, Tom.
Bring up the PowerPoint. Here we go again. Here we fucking go again.
The Council of Elders for the CDL. Bring up the Powerpoint.
This guy, Dad, thinks him individually messaging a dev to get something fixed is going to just get it fixed for the whole league, bro. Who the fuck are you, Dan?
Yeah, basically, just to sum it up, if you guys don't have a solution, it's going to be hostage control. So it is what it is.
I fixed shit from Twitter DMs before.
It's going to be hostage, bro.
Not hard to do.
It's gonna be. It'll be Hossie. It'll be Hossie. And it'll be Hossie, and they're just gonna make it work. We're just gonna make it work and just kind of go for it. I was asking you before, Chris. Like, I mean, I guess Pat already said it because of the holiday break, right? This might not be any changes, but how difficult is it to actually like change spawns and like spawn people in different spots? Like, is it hard to code? Like, Pat, you're on the developer side. Like, is that difficult?
Changing the actual spawn points isn't hard. The swapping around the spawn logic can take some time, but the points are really easy.
Interesting. Well, hopefully we get some changes here soon. I definitely think there could be an overhaul with the game, especially if the pros are involved and they're talking to the devs. I'm sure they can make some changes to really make this game better. Of course, we can always use new maps as well. So we can only pray for that. Any final thoughts on the OpTic Texas LAG series? Thought OpTic looked good. LAG kept it close, but OpTic closed it out.
On the board, bro. Need him on the board.
LAG needs to get on the board quick, bro. They have to, bro.
Well, speaking of teams that need to get on the board, my goodness.
Speaking of teams that need to get on the board is Atlanta FaZe, because they got 3-0'd here by the Carolina Royal Ravens. It's a 3-0 sweep. Atlanta FaZe down. Not only do they get 3-0, they get 100-point clubbed in the protocol hardpoint as well. I mean, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. Atlanta FaZe look terrible right now. It is what it is. They look horrible.
Second worst team in the league.
Their trades look off. It looks like they're not calming with each other. Their holds are terrible. Their breaks are terrible. Their S&D looked off. They don't look like they're on the same page in S&D. They're planting bombs while MC's in fucking bumblefuck nowhere.
Is this the second or third time they've been point clubbed? I swear to God.
Third time since the case on land.
They've gone third.
Something's going on with these guys, man.
Bro.
Something's going on. I mean, I don't know like how to pinpoint it, because usually we don't see a team like this be so sloppy off the rip, but they look bad, man. They look really sloppy. Like, it almost looks like the teamwork has been thrown out the window. And then, of course, on the other side, Carolina's been lighting it up. Well, Jesus, jump scare. We got a red carpet across the board for Atlanta FaZe, and on the other side, a 1.4 from TJ Haley today.
That's my fantasy player right there.
I mean, what a series from TJ. And we got a 1.41 from Gwyn, who I know is also in the chat. Shout out to Gwyn. Unbelievable plays coming in from the submachine guns here. And then you also have the ARs kicking it up. You have Slasher and Vivid putting up good numbers. I think Slasher's talking about during the interview. Vivid, he's really good at just playing his role and knowing when to play quick, when to play slow. And I think, Vivid switching to an AR, some people weren't sure how it was going to be because he was always so naturally just a fast SMG player, used to take routes and shit like that. But it's good to have that pace on the flex as well if you're running a flex AR. So to see Vivid shining and to see everything just clicking for these guys, like, it definitely looks really, really good for Carolina. We got the match MVP here, TJ Haley. It was close in the votes. I'm sure the other votes are probably going to Gwyn. But
Tej was due, bro.
He was due, man.
Nobody beats Tej 20 times in a row.
TJ had beat these guys since Black Ops 4 Anaheim. That's
Nobody.
fucking crazy.
That is crazy. Holy shit.
I
actually didn't know that. He hasn't beaten him since Black Ops 4?
Anaheim, yeah.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Well, he got the W today, so the streak ends today. Shout out to TJ and the boys. Sam, we'll start with you. Atlanta FaZe, they get pooped on today. Carolina looking good. I mean, what's going on here, Sam? Definitely a weird series.
I said it yesterday. Trap series.
You did say it yesterday. You and Cap said it yesterday. You both said it
yesterday. In all seriousness, FaZe look like the inside of my ass, man. Ravens look like an insane hardpoint team right now. I know going in today they played LAG and Falcons, so I wanted to see them put on a good hardpoint performance. And Club and FaZe was definitely best case scenario. They look fucking lights out right now. So I'm gonna give them their flowers. I was high on them preseason, and I'm happy to see them put it together right now. Their search is obviously insane. You look at their roster, you just know they're going to be good at search. That's not really anything crazy. I think the thing that got me today was the control win. Their controls looked like kind of hit or miss. It's definitely going to be the mode that can kind of win or lose them series. So to see them pull one out today was great. But yeah, FaZe is fucking terrible. Just to rip the Band-Aid off. Don't know what's going on. ARs look like shit. They're running through. Both subs are just sprinting. There's no teamwork.
They have no teamwork.
Their teamwork is the most concerning.
Listening was horrifying today.
Listening was so bad.
I don't know what these guys are doing.
They're the team that a lot of people would credit with, like, you talk about these players and how fast they play and how aggressive this team has been, and they look like the slowest team in the league.
Wait, they learn the game the quickest usually, but like right now it looks like they genuinely don't like have a good grasp of the pace of the game and like what they should be doing. And on top of that, they're just not getting kills. Like their POVs don't even look like FaZe player POVs. They look like, I don't know. They just look so uncomfortable out there.
They look uncomfortable. That's a perfect word.
God,
they just look uncomfortable.
The middle of the listening today on the P3 protocol, when everybody died and Tyler just goes, I'm just gonna hit the front, just runs in, gets one and dies. I'm like, dude, these guys, like, what the fuck are we watching right now?
Yeah.
Wait, actually,
There's
hold
no
on. Chat's
coordination.
gonna like this one. I think FaZe just needs time, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
they're
not,
0-3. They need some wins on the board.
Okay, so for all the morons, like, they're not gonna make a roster change unless this team gets last twice. I mean, that kind of situation, because they've been. I mean, bro, have they ever made losers bracket in the CDL?
I mean, if they go winless and don't play good at Major 1, you don't think they'll make a change? I can see them making a change if they go winless.
You think if they went 0-7 and got last, that might be the only situation where they might blow it up.
Yeah. I mean, at the pace that they're on now, I mean, it's looking rough. Go ahead, Pat. What were you gonna say?
They've played the top 3 teams. Okay, give them some slack. They've only played the top 3.
Good Carolina gas right there.
Ravens top 3, Pat?
Right now, yeah.
I also don't see how they can.
If you look at the standings, they've only played the top 3 teams.
Gotcha.
I also don't see how they could like go last map with like LAT and then just get fucking absolutely obliterated by Carolina. Maybe Carolina's just God. Obviously, I'm gonna give Carolina credit here because they've been looking really good. Their S&D's been phenomenal. Yeah. Their hardpoint's been good too. Like,
bro, they look like the best hardpoint team right now.
They
other
do.
than LAT.
They're so coordinated.
They play. No, fuck that. They play cleaner hardpoints than LAT has. Those fools are trolling, bro. Yeah. Ravens have been fucking torching people. Granted, again, it was LAG in Vegas, but
yeah.
You know what I love about
fundamentally they look good, bro.
You know what I love about Carolina? Yeah, I was basically going there. They play like their positioning like so well. You never really see too many of them like trolling and doing crazy shit, like running like crazy, like giving away their lives. Like you'll see TJ and Gwyn playing off angles, playing creddies, they're playing crossfires. Like Vivid and Austin are definitely not letting up on their L triggers, just holding lanes. Like they're not overcomplicating the game. The game looks super simple when you're watching them play.
I feel like they genuinely have an understanding of how they want to get out of every situation or capitalize on every situation that they're getting in. They're not just kind of like scrambling and then like when it hits the 30-second mark, okay, now finally they got a grip of like how they want to like play and get out and stuff like that. No, they will go from hill to hill, like rotation, blah, blah, like knowing exactly what they want to do and how they want to execute it. And it's working right now.
Yeah, Austin said that as well in the interview. He said, you know, when everything's calculated and everybody's on the same page and you know what's going on, the game just naturally comes to you. And obviously that's in a situation for Slasher. Like that's where Austin's at his best, right? Like everything needs to be calculated. Everything needs to be thought about and coordinated. You could tell that everybody's just super comfortable on the map. We're on the opposite side. I thought using the word uncomfortable, Chris, is the perfect way to describe them because that's what it seems like with FaZe. So Carolina just really putting the nail in the coffin here, man. Just really looking good here after the first couple weeks. In this one. And then again with FaZe, like they have to get a W on the board. Same thing as LAG. It's the same shit. I mean, they both can't dig themselves a hole like this. I'm expecting them to turn it around. I think they have Vegas coming up, Ben, tomorrow. I think they play Vegas tomorrow.
Holy shit.
I mean, I mean, with the way that with
toilet bowl.
Yeah, they play Vegas tomorrow,
the way that the standings are right now, this is another one of those splits like Major 4 last year where 3 and 4 might not get you in a winner's bracket. The team that is lowest on there and lose a head-to-head tiebreaker might be fucked. So if you're FaZe, like you essentially gotta have a win-out mindset here if you want to make winners bracket. Otherwise, it's the first time we've seen them in losers. I think literally ever. I can't remember a time that FaZe has started.
I don't think they've ever
major
been losers.
Yeah,
I don't think they have.
What'd you say, Zim?
I said I don't think they've ever started in losers.
Is that true? Have they never started in losers bracket?
I don't think they have.
Wow.
I just wonder what's going to happen with this team if they continue down this path and they just have a really shit major, or do you think something happens before the major if they just literally
nothing will happen
start
before
getting
the major.
torched?
I don't think anything will happen beforehand.
Dude,
I think Sam said it best. If we want to identify players, I think we're really struggling right now. Both the AR players, probably the worst.
but I think the whole roster sucks right now.
All roster sucks. I think in particular the AR players today were bad. The AR players couldn't get a fucking trade, no matter the situation. Both of them today.
Even their clutch situations in S&D, when they have numbers, it's like, dude,
the shit
what are
that
they
Gwyn
doing?
was doing to them in the first like 3 rounds of that search, I was fucking flabbergasted at. When they were in B-bomb and they just let Carolina walk in and retake, I couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah.
The budget cuts might be costing them, bro. They got rid
Where's
of
Tupac?
they got rid of Tupac. I don't think.
Whoa,
I think
whoa, be careful. Be careful, Parasite. You're not management, okay? You don't know if that'll upset
Okay,
anybody.
I was gonna say, Proto used to work for them, like low key as well. Like no one knew, like people like that in the scene kind of like knew, but Proto used to kind of work with them a bit too. Tupac obviously doesn't work with them. Like I'm curious to like, how all that's affecting them.
Ben, why did you say what you said after the tweet coming in? You said C9. What, they retweeted Tupac's tweet?
Yeah, it's just one of those weird situations for me where it's like, I think there's a certain line. You can make fun of orgs. I love the tweets of banner back. I thought Thieves' tweets have been great this year. When you do callbacks, the banter, the shit talk. I think once you start poking fun at teams for dropping individuals for budget cuts, I feel like that gets over some version of a line, but obviously some of y'all don't feel that way.
I think you're being
I
soft.
over a line, bro. It's
baby shit.
I think you're being soft, bro.
Yeah.
I think you're being soft.
I mean, that's fine.
I think you are just saying you are
I
FaZe
just think
affiliate.
there's a line and it's a little bit
FaZe
over it.
affiliate cheese, bro. Like calm down, bro. That is
Charmin ultra
Charmin
soft.
soft,
Listen,
bro.
don't call me FaZe affiliate because I vehemently disagree with a lot of decisions Atlanta FaZe has made over the years.
Hey,
So
I'm
don't
just
say
saying.
that shit.
I'm just saying that is soft as a baby shit, bro.
Call me FaZe affiliate is crazy. But
Wait, what's the number one you disagree with, Ben?
well, it depends on if I want to get trouble on the show or not.
What do you mean?
I mean, I just think this org could have. I think the way that this org functions, and I think as to your point, Chris, with Nick Proto situation, the POC situation, I think there's always a lot more they could have done to support the players on this team, and I don't think they've always capitalized on the situation that have. I think that the Atlanta FaZe org was blessed to have acquired these 4 players, and they've had some success, but I don't think that they've maximized the potential of the squad.
Be careful, Ben. Be careful.
That's not an insane take. It's pretty basic.
That's a base
Good take,
take,
Ben.
Ben. Listen,
Yeah, but
I will
give it complaining about it after
That's
the show.
fine. Listen,
so I feel
hey,
welcome.
that's fine.
You're not an affiliate. You shouldn't care.
I want to commend you for actually
No,
saying
I
that.
actually don't care, Sam. I
There
actually
you go,
don't give a
Ben.
shit.
There
That's
we go.
why-
Let's go, Benjay. Let's
There we
go.
go,
There you
Poke the
go.
bear, Ben.
Nah, I mean,
W Benjay.
Even as, even for me, right, being somebody in the FaZe camp, I mean, you want to say it how it is, bro. I mean, if they're getting
Not
pooped on,
management,
or
of course.
yeah, apparently I'm not qualified enough for management, Sam, but because I
Neither
thought
am I,
that was
Ben.
soft, because I thought that was soft from Ben.
Neither am I, Tom. Don't worry.
Obviously they're not playing well right now, and clearly there's something going on. They're just not clicking, and they're gonna have to figure it out, man. They definitely got to figure it out. Anybody else got any final thoughts with Atlanta FaZe and Carolina here?
Thank
Comfortable
God
series.
this break is here.
I mean, if you want to know a classic fucking FaZe stat in this game is like we keep talking first bloods. They got one of the highest first blood percentages in the entire league. Still, they're still getting bloods, and they have only won like barely 50% of those rounds. Like that is basically where they're at right now.
Them boys got to hit a VOD, bro, and see every team that is doing good in a certain game mode or certain map combination, no bullshit, and just steal that shit and just be like, we're more talented. We're going to steal what you're doing. We're going to execute it better. We're better players, and just start from there, because clearly they're probably so used to figuring the game out quicker than everybody else that they probably haven't really invested too much into like watching what other teams do and try to figure out what they're doing, but it's not working. So go steal shit from other teams, bro.
I think that the break is not going to benefit anybody more than the Atlanta FaZe. I think this break is a godsend right now to stop whatever the fuck's going on over there.
Stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding.
Yeah, they need it bad.
Well,
bro.
it starts with tomorrow. They have to be Vegas. They lose. To
If
Vegas,
they lose to Vegas, they're on blow watch.
If they-
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
they are.
If they lose to
They actually
Vegas,
are.
I'm sounding the alarm. They're on blow watch.
if they lose to Vegas, I'm going to eat my foot on stream.
Jesus
well,
Christ.
that's bold with how they're playing right now.
For
Chris.
free?
Chris,
free.
Chris, I don't know if that's a wise trap because Vegas has at least won a search phase of I gotta go second game.
Please, bro, don't make me. No.
Clip it, ship it, send it to
Blow watch if
Gersh.
they lose.
Send it to Gersh, clip it and ship it.
I'm trying to stop you from doing what the Nub did in fucking
I'm
Vanguard Major 2.
I'm not picking Falcons to beat FaZe tomorrow, bro. In our predictions, I'm not doing it, bro.
I'm just saying the Nub made this mistake, man. Like I'm trying to warn you, bro.
Press that fucking button. I don't care.
Hey, Pat, you got any final thoughts, Pat?
No, I mean, contrary to popular belief, I got full faith in the FaZe squad. I think they're okay.
What do you think their issue is, Pat?
Slow start.
That's what you think.
Why do they have why are they having a slow start? What are you watching that's leading to slow start?
I mean, I think they've just had a long off season, celebrating so much success. Coming off a world championship victory. We've seen this before with teams where like you
got a hangover.
Yeah, you're the reigning world champions, and you're starting a little slow. And I think they'll bounce back. I actually think, Ben, these guys are going to be my sleeper pick to win the minor tournament. I'm going to say that now.
Insane turnaround.
Yeah,
that would be a crazy turnaround.
That's what I'm going to predict right now.
If any team's going to do it, I could see them doing it if they were going to have a turnaround,
listen, man, like, bro, we were talking. This is the funniest part about the CDL is remember we were saying about OpTic last year after the major force play, we're like, going into champs, I don't know. And they pulled up and they look completely 180 different from how they played major 4 at. Like, if anyone can figure it out, they can figure it out. They've always gotten out of the valley. Well, they've been together so long. Sometimes those ways that you approach things to mix things up, you sort of get diminishing returns. And I'm not saying this is it, but
the problem is with this.
At some point, the magic's gonna run out.
The problem is with that, dude, is like OpTic's turnaround and stuff like that was like throughout, like towards the end of the year when the game was already figured out. They just had to like get it like back together. Whereas FaZe, the game hasn't been figured out yet completely. The game's still changing, new patches, blah, blah, maps, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so much that's still changing, and they don't even have a single fucking Scooby snack fucking in terms of how to play the game. Like, they just don't know what's going on. I've never seen this team more lost in my fucking goddamn life.
This is the worst. I mean, they had some splits in major Modern Warfare 2 online. They didn't look that good. They still pulled up to events and were decent. This is the worst they've ever worked in the CDL. I can't remember them being
Just go steal some shit, bro. You got Simp and a BZ on your team. Lock in.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what happens moving forward with FaZe. We'll obviously get to predictions at the end of the show. We're also going to do a little fantasy. I saw some comments over on YouTube saying that you guys want us to do a little fantasy segment where we kind of just check up on our fantasy teams and kind of see what's going on. So we'll definitely take a look at our fantasy squads and see who's kind of slaying over there. But let's move on to the last series of the day. We got the Boston Breach going up against the Vancouver Surge. This one goes all the way down to a last map. It was Boston who come out and win the first hardpoint and the second hardpoint. Boston's hardpoints have just been unbelievable. They win the maps 1 and 4. This S&D and the control go to Vancouver pretty comfortably as well. And then Boston able to close it out in the red card S&D to get the series win. We'll scroll down. Take a look at the stat sheet here. And Jesus, almost a red carpet here for the Vancouver Surge, but it's nasty. Keeping him afloat with a 1.0. He went even there. On the other side, you got a 1.12 from Snoopy, which we love to see. Snoopy continuing to fry. I definitely think Snoopy having a good year here is big for the kid, man. So to see him going crazy like this is cool to see. You got a 1.05 from Big Wake and Cammy as well. So the AR is continuing to shine. And then Purge, 0.99. Can't talk about Purge enough, man. Like the impact that he is on a map, both in Respawn and S&D. I'm really liking the routes that he's taking, like him and Snoopy, the way that they're playing off each other. Their trades are on point. Their pace is there. And it seems like they're really just playing off each other well. I don't know if it's a communication thing or a playstyle thing, or maybe it's just chemistry between those two, but it's been really fun to watch these guys play. Honestly, Boston's been one of my favorite teams to watch so far this season.
Yeah.
So shout out to Boston, man. I want to make sure to give them some gas because I doubted the team going into the year. I doubted the team, and to see them come out like this, it is cool to see. I just think they're meshing. I think we're starting to see a glimpse of old Cammy. I think Big Wake is starting to shoot again. I remember last year, Big Wake was having just a hard time getting kills at times. And that was like his specialty. That was his thing, was slaying. So to see him slaying again is cool to see. Like, it looks like all these guys got their groove back and got their confidence back. And honestly, I couldn't be happier for him. And then on the other side, with Vancouver, they're up and down, man. Vancouver. I don't know what we're going to get whenever Vancouver plays. I don't know what to expect. I'm not really too sure what the inconsistencies are. Like some maps, they look great. Like the control, for instance, like the Respawn, like they were shooting like crazy. But then when you get to the hard points, it's like, man, what happened to these guys? You know, where did their gunny go? I don't know what you guys think. Duarte, we'll start with you. Boston, they close it out 3-2. What are your thoughts?
On the Vancouver side, I feel like there's a Booza tweet. I think he feels like they are getting joked and they are at a disadvantage online currently. I guess
He has the kill record, bro.
Yeah, he does have the
Against
kill
OpTic.
record, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna disregard his complaints. Obviously, those guys are in
record online.
Those guys are Northwest, like they are not in the most favorable position. So I get their complaints. So that could also be eating away at them. But at the same time, bro, I will say like you were talking about, Tom. Boston is playing really good COD. Obviously, their control is not the best, but their S&Ds are pretty damn good for the most part. They've been very consistent, and their hardpoint has actually not been bad. They're slaying. They're playing their lives well. I want to watch Boston and Ravens play because I feel like they have kind of similar team dynamics. I think Ravens has been a little bit more impressive, but they're kind of around the same range where both teams have been pretty damn good at search and hardpoint. So I want to watch those teams play against each other. But in terms of this match, I mean, I'm happy with how Boston has looked. I think Seattle was fighting back in this series, but ultimately they just couldn't rip that W away from Boston. They're just too far inconsistent. I feel like Hicksy, he had that really good series against Toronto. Then he had a completely fucking utter blunder in his last series. And then 0-4, he's been like pretty good too, but nothing really to kind of write home about. And then Abuza, again, inconsistent. And then Nasty, I feel like Nasty is right around his normal range. Like he's been playing like this in terms, like he's been playing pretty average, but like serviceable in terms of what we expect him to play. So I don't really think this is like on him. I think he's been playing his role fine. The other three, I'm just not really sure how they're gonna get their consistency together.
I mean, I think 0-4 has been their most consistent slayer so far this year. I just feel like
I think he needs to step up. Like because Nasty's playing right.
He did step up from last year though. This is Mark.
I'm saying he's a step up.
Last year.
He's a step up. I'm talking about like now. For like his team, not like in terms of last year.
I think Abuza is the one that
needs to start playing consistently.
The player on the team that's going to play better is Abuza. Like I think 0-4.
Yeah, you're right.
I think 0-4. Listen, 0-4 last year, S&D was double digits. They just threw away so many fucking high rises where he dropped 10 and 11, which made me so annoyed. But his consistency in respawn slaying has been pretty good through the first couple of games they played. I think to your point, Abuza is the one that's got to figure out how to be a consistent
sounds like he's a fucking
one on this team.
Yeah, what's going on here? He tweeted out after the series, I don't know how I'm supposed to get a single kill from here. I actually can't.
Kill record.
What's he talking about?
Brother, they played Vancouver versus Boston, fucking ping cheese.
I mean, he's blaming ping cheese.
Yeah, he's blaming the ping. Yeah.
Well, what's the ping? I mean, I would love to know. Why can't they just come out and be like, we were on this ping and the other team was on this ping? I would love to know what the pings were.
They have a geographical problem, Tom. Do you see how far north they are compared to everybody else?
Yeah, that's why they shouldn't be there to begin with.
They probably played on like Chicago or some shit.
No idea.
Probably Chicago. What else would they play on?
Chicago with like
which obviously benefits Boston.
Doug said Denver.
Vancouver played us.
That's what I thought it would
server.
be. It had to, bro. If it was on Chicago against Boston, that's an excuse.
Denver,
if they play on Denver,
not,
there's no excuse.
Yeah, that I would argue.
Doug Sensor Martin. We got Doug Sensor Martin in the chat, man. It's gonna Doug Sensor
If they played on Denver, that means that Vancouver got their pings raised and probably not Boston.
They could. Yeah, that's what I said on the show yesterday. There's no way they played on Chicago.
I mean, either way, bro. Like, I'm not gonna say they're not at a disadvantage. I'm not gonna say they're not right to complain because it is online. It sucks, but I still think Boston is a better team. I still like from all their series that Vancouver had, they played on Denver, they've played on LA, they've played on whatever the fuck they're playing on now. I still think Boston has just been far more impressive team, and they've been playing great. So
Pat, what do you think about Boston? Are they surprising you early here, Pat? Because I don't think any of us were too high on them going into the season. But I mean, after watching them play and seeing how they've been playing, I mean, they look really good. Where's your head at with these guys, Pat?
I love it. As soon as I heard that Doug Sensor Martin got the keys, my opinion on Boston completely changed.
Wow, this is great, Doug S.
I mean, we saw it last year at the World Cup. Like, they won more at one event than they won all year long.
They've won more Game 5s this year than they did all of last year already.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised, honestly. I think this is a solid team. There's still one guy on this roster you guys know I'm not very high on. And I do think there's room for improvement.
Purge has been good though, Pat. He's been
really good.
He's been solid. But again, he was solid at some points last year. So it's not like we haven't seen some of this. It's more so it goes back to what we were talking about before, like in the big moments, what happens.
I don't even
Snoopy,
care.
I think I think like you guys were talking about, like with Brandon and some other players like Kleenex, this is a game that's probably made for Snoopy. So I do think he will, succeed on this type of game, and we see Cammy back in form. So, in my opinion, as long as Awakening can continue to be big wake and not kind of regress to what we saw when he was on the Rocker, was that last year? Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think this team is going to stay middle of the pack. I don't think they'll fall down. I think they are better than some of that bottom 4, bottom 6 right now. And if their S&D and Hardpoint stays at this level, then I'm high on them. And like I said, Doug's in charge, and things are going up from there.
Speaking of S&D with Boston, bro, their S&D is really good. I know they lost the second map here, but they did close it out in the last one. Just in general, throughout their last few matches, their last 4 matches, they've looked really good in Surge. I just like the pace that they push, and they're not scared to like chow stuff together as a team and like really conquer that map control. Like they're definitely not scared to chow. And I think it's cool to see how they play off each other in Surge. Like they're definitely clicking in Surge right now for sure.
Going into this match, I don't know if it's changed because the stats haven't updated, but they were the best defensive team in S&D statistically.
Nice.
What do you just say, like defensive round wins?
Like win percentage. They were also up there in first blood. I think they're like either second or third in first blood win percentage. And then
yeah, that makes sense with Purge
they're just committing well on that side of the ball. So I think for Boston, it's like they have a pretty good map pool. Just keep the teamwork up, through the break, and like they can make a nice real run here.
I know you're not high on Purge, but unless he's dropping like consistent 0.6s every series like he was back in fucking Modern Warfare 3 on the Vegas team, like I don't care. You're not getting rid of this guy at all. Like the list, when you listen to their listen-ins and how they talk about Purge in terms of like he's probably the more vocal one. Like they've said it in the interviews. Like that guy is a huge part of their team, and I firmly believe like he's probably like integral to how like together they're playing and how on the same page they're playing. So unless he is literally getting absolutely worked on all the time, like that guy's actually just he's going to be underrated this year if he continues to play like this, because he's been playing pretty good, and today he had a good series.
The caveat is if he continues to play like this.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, he's
from the majority we've ever seen Purge in the CDO, he did not play. He only started
playing last year.
Yeah, and
like
he got
in the
world
CDO.
star.
That's fair enough, but he's on a better team now, like more together team, and they are they're playing well.
Your team environment's a really big thing. Like,
and on top of that, a lot of us on the show were very like negative in terms of this team. So I want to commend them on like playing pretty well right now and like proving people wrong so far.
Hell yeah.
Because people were always like talking shit about this roster, but I was not one of those people, and I will tell you why. Because I was under the same impression that I was not under the same impression of you guys. I was like, bro, what else are they gonna do? I'd rather them stick with this roster because they had a decent success at whatever ESWC, but also you can tell that these guys are comfortable playing with each other. So at the very least, it's better for them to stick together with this roster than go out there and just try to take random pros and put them on a team. So clearly, that's like their success right now, their early on success is a byproduct of their trust system and them just keeping together that roster as opposed to just randomly looking for names. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that they're doing well because it proves a lot of people wrong. I think
you couldn't have asked for a better start for Boston.
Yep.
You got some great wins and upset. They lost to Minnesota. The only thing I will say is all 4 of these series have been game 5. So like want to see them, when they get back and they had that first match against Carolina, then they got FaZe and they got Thieves. In the minor tournament, can they close out some of these series 3-0, 3-1 and take the next step? Or are they, to your point earlier, Sam, like doing the Thieves angle here and like counting on just game 5 clutch ups is going to eventually bite you in the ass at some point once you stop winning those?
Yep. I mean, that's my number one concern is just what Ben said. Like all of these series are extended and their S&D is very good, but I'm not going to know how good it is for how long, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But we also
they have insane game 5 ice, but how long is that going to last?
But we also we got to stop looking at it as game 5 ice. Like it's just another search. If they're a good search team, like if they start losing a lot of game 5s, but they're still winning a lot of game 2s, then we can chalk it up to game 5 ice and nerves and stuff like that.
That's been the problem with this franchise.
Fair enough, but it's a completely different team. Like that's
it's across a lot. It's across a lot of different teams.
You get the point. What I'm saying is, unless they are consistently losing a lot of game 5s but still winning those game 2s, then maybe it's a game 5 nervous thing. But right now, I'm not looking at it as they're going game 5 every series. They're clutching up. they're just winning search. They're winning more searches than they're losing.
Yeah,
they're
but
a
that
good
was their
search
whole
team.
problem last year. That was the whole point. That's why this got
Yeah,
called out.
but right now, but that was a completely different team. Like, so we don't really know if that's going to be a thing right now. Right now, they're just good. They're a good search team. Yeah, they're going game 5, but it's search. They're winning searches. It just happened. The search is the last game mode. What are they supposed to do? Like,
well, I mean, what they need to do is win controls because they're 1-4 in the game mode right now.
That is the one thing that stands out about this team. They need to improve on a lot.
Yeah,
they need to win.
This is like, again, the Thieves problem. Thieves had this at the beginning of last year. As good as their map was in Hardpoint S&D, they were testing fate by not winning controls. Eventually, like, you're going to play a team that's going to be you on the map or map 5, and suddenly that condition is going to be out the window. They got to figure out, and unfortunately, Vault controls the meta right now. They ever had to grab a couple of those, close these out 3-0-3-1s, or win some series where, maybe you lose the S&D and you win 3 respawns, which was almost the angle in the series for them if they didn't fucking lose control.
Sam's cam is in like 1 FPS right now.
You know me, man. This shit ass ninja program. Hey, man. What's going on?
I definitely want to take a look. Let's see. Wait, Ben, before we move on, what's Vancouver's matchups coming up? Because they're 1-3 right now. So who are they playing?
They have Vegas when they get back. Actually, they have Vegas, Carolina, Minnesota. So this is very doable for them to try and find 3. I just think the way that let's assume that FaZe actually rebound, and you look at the rest of the standings, it's just going to be really weird that one of these. I think there might be a couple teams at 3 and 4, and one of them is not going to get in that last spot. So you got to try and get to 4 wins and guarantee it. Can't go down to chance and tiebreakers.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Unless anybody has anything else to say on the series. Anybody got anything else? All right, we'll take a look at the matches tomorrow. I was going to pull it up on the VOD, but I ain't taking any chances, bro. I don't even want to touch that VOD. Take a look at the picture here. We got on the far right side, December 15th tomorrow. We got Toronto Ultra versus the Miami Heretics. We got Atlanta FaZe versus Vegas. We got the Carolina Royal Ravens going up against Cloud9, and then we got Minnesota Rocker going up against LA Thieves. So we got some good matches here. I'm going to start things off. I'm going to go Ultra 3-1 in the first series. I'm going to go Atlanta FaZe 3-1. Actually, I'm going to go Atlanta FaZe 3-0 in the second series. I think Atlanta FaZe is, I don't know, they got to come out and get a W. So I'm just expecting them to come out and like actually turn things around. Hopefully they do, but we'll see. And then we got Carolina versus Cloud9. I'm going to go with Carolina on that one just for how they've looked so far recently. I know Cloud9 did just get their ping cheese fixed, though. That's a hard one, actually, because the first couple games of Cloud9, we didn't really get to really see them, you know? Yeah. So it's hard for them. And then they looked really good in the last match. Like, they did look good. But I'll go with Carolina in that one. And then last match, got to give it to LA Thieves. I'll give it to them 3-1. Over to Minnesota Rocker. I see Rocker taking like a Sadir control or something, but I think these are going to close it out. So I got LA Thieves in that one. Chris, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Toronto. FaZe. Also, I would say 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1 just because I feel like Vegas has been a pretty decent S&D team. Like, I feel like that's the game where they're most competitive, and Atlanta FaZe has been struggling in search. So I'm going to give them a map win. This third match, like, I want to go with C9 just because, like, I feel like they might have figured it out. They got their ping cheese, and they're probably a more talented team on paper. But I think a lot of people tout them as that. But I'm going to go with Carolina because I feel like at least for now, C9's ARs have been nothing to write home about. And they need to step it the fuck up because they're going against Slasher and Vivid, who have been playing pretty damn good. So I'll go with Carolina, and then I'm going to go with Thieves because they're just the best team right now.
For sure. Ben, who do you got?
I got Toronto Miami is low-key like a Terran Org beef square-up match. Toronto should win that, but I will not be shocked if Miami somehow gets an upset there. I think FaZe is going to 3-1 Vegas, but it's going to be dicey. FaZe is going to have to clutch up map 4 as Vegas throws. I think I got Carolina 3, game 5 against New York. And I'm going to say the Minnesota Rocker take a game 5 against Thieves. I'm going to call the upset in the last match. Based on zero evidence, just vibes.
All right. What about you, Pat? And Toronto, Miami's big for my fantasy team tomorrow because I got Kleenex and Real, so I need both of those guys to turn up. Sam, I think we're matched up right now, right? So
yeah,
that's a big series.
We're
there.
a nail biter right now.
Pat, what do you think, Pat?
I got Toronto, Atlanta, Carolina, Thieves.
All right, there you go. There you have it, Sam.
Toronto, Vegas, Carolina, LAT.
You're so bored.
You're going with Vegas, man, aren't
I'll
you?
take it. I'll take the
Look at
bait.
you, Sam. Look at you.
I'll
man.
eat my foot.
I'll take the bait. I want to watch Chris eat his foot.
Ben, let's take a look at fantasy. Where do I go? I just go to fantasy COD? I just go to fantasy COD here?
Yeah, let's pull up our league, I guess.
Yeah, let's pull up our league. Let's see what's going on here. Let's switch on over. All right, got the flank league right here. Let's take a look here at the stat line here. Who's this on the right side? We got a chat in here. What is this, Gertz? He said, fuck. Yeah, let's go with this guy. We got, looks like who got some losses on the board? Benjay, Parasite, Kason, Porter,
I took
and Pat.
Haggy out back last week.
I mean,
I'm winning right now.
You guys
though.
are 0-1.
I'm winning against Cole. Actually, I'm losing against Cole. I mean, I drafted Simp, and obviously ATL's getting shit on, so that's not really helping my cause right now.
Wait, where am I at?
Pat, you're 0-1 in last place, Pat.
Oh, well, there's 5 of us in 0-1.
Yeah, there's 5. Do they rank if you're like tied with somebody? Does it go to like points or something? Is that what?
No, this was the draft order. Looking at it, it was Kason, Krim, me.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
I fear Kason's in last because he didn't set his fucking lineup. So,
Bro, I also got cheesed because I had C9 ping cheese and I have a C9 player on my roster. Like that's an auto loss. Do I want to know? Do all the teams that are like that lost have a C9 player on their roster? Like Pat, Krim.
I mean, bro, we're not blaming injuries in fantasy, are we?
I'm getting cheesed.
Your player towards ACL, bro. Lock it in.
He's out.
He got a concussion. He's out for a week. Like,
If you had a
he's going through
C9, if
protocol
you had a
right now.
C9 player on your team, you lost last week, bro. It was over.
Krim has a player that tore his ACL. Like, what is he supposed to do?
Those
about
guys literally spawned
See,
out.
this is what I
so
don't understand.
fast.
Why does it say December 6th and it says Pat beat Kason, but Pat's 0-1? That's why
it's the matchup's not in yet.
No, it's live and upcoming. Complete is the ones that are done.
So I'm in there. I'm 1-1.
Yeah,
because it's still going right now.
You're gonna be
Damn,
one
Duarte got smoked by Sam.
Bro,
Win is a win, bitch.
Look at me. Look at me just slamming
I had
Chris.
Dylan
Just
on my roster,
slamming you.
and Cell's been my
Just
ass as well.
absolutely slamming you.
Yeah, no, anyone with ATL and C9 players getting
if you had ATL and C9, you insta lost. Like you had no chance.
See, completed. Look, me versus the Slayer. Look, I beat him 6-5. I should be 2-0. I should be 2-0, Pat.
Well, hold on. Week two isn't over yet.
C9 player, insta L. Let's keep it going.
Insta L. That was a grueler.
That's an absolute grueler. Scroll down. How close are some of those?
It was a grueler. It was a grueler.
Scroll down. No, time go back to it. Scroll down. How close are some of those?
Let's take a look. You're saying down here by the stat
scroll
sheet
down.
here?
How close was this?
Wow, this was pretty close actually.
Scroll down to
the S&D
control.
was close, and then the control looked like Pat had me in the control. That's where Pat had me.
Wait, can I still win this? Or is it over?
No, this is over.
Last week.
But I don't understand because I also beat Kason. So shouldn't I be 2-0? That's wrong.
You haven't beat him yet.
You haven't beat him yet.
Oh, I haven't beat Kason yet? No, I'm playing Sam this
The
weekend.
week is not over. There's one more days of matches, Tom.
No, he's playing me this week.
I'm playing Sam this weekend.
No, what 2 matches are you counting, Tom?
I beat Kason, and apparently I beat Pat.
Well, clearly you didn't play case on week 1, so I don't know.
You didn't play case on week
1.
one.
Oh, really?
So,
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think you're just an L reader here.
The complete tab isn't for you. It's for all the matches that got done yesterday. This for everyone.
Okay. I mean, I remember last time we talked, somebody said I beat Kason, and he didn't even file a team, apparently. Apparently, Kason didn't put a team on his lineup.
Who's under the free agency tab? Like, is there anybody that's like? Did he get picked?
Snoop is in there.
Listen. I will be making changes to my roster come time.
When can we make changes? Can we do it now?
Monday at 12.
No, I think Monday at 12.
Monday at 12, man.
Yeah,
12 Eastern, yes.
I will be making changes.
I will be on the waiver wire. That is correct. I'm streaming my second AR, bro. Literally tight ends.
But streaming your second AR, bro. That's a crazy fucking strat.
I'm streaming my second AR.
We're going 0 AR, bro.
But we're only allowed to trade AR for AR, right? We can't.
Yeah.
Now you could technically 1-for-1 that. Theoretically, you just have an unbalanced roster and have
Damn,
to drop
Porter
someone.
got slammed by Team Colt. Jesus, man. What the hell, Porter? What the hell's going on here?
Colt's team has been good, like with like 0 effort. He picked a solid team, and they've all been
Yeah,
playing.
you got Shotzi, Envoy, Paul, and Nasty.
Shotzi, Envoy, and then Nasty and Paul. Like that's
a great team.
I was beating Colt until the FaZe series.
Look at him.
I was beating Colt today until the FaZe series.
No roster. He didn't even submit it, bro.
That's funny.
I was on the way.
Krim has pred this weekend, so he's just cooked.
Hey, AG tore his ACL, bro. Lock in, man.
Whoa, flashbang.
I was on the way to a nice victory against Colt, and then
damn, Carolina #1 in the standings right now. Look at that.
I told you, top 3 teams, Tom. That's who FaZe just played.
Yeah, I mean, this is really cool to see. I don't think anybody expected us after week 2 to see Carolina at the top of the standings right now. starting off
The
3-0.
the funniest result would be if somehow Carolina, Toronto, and Thieves all lose tomorrow, and it's a 5-way tie for 4 spots on who gets to buy a major one minor tournament.
Yeah, I think yeah. Oh, how many ties could we potentially have? Oh, you're saying Atlanta, Vegas, and LAG?
No, if Carolina, Toronto, and Thieves all lose tomorrow, there'd be 5 teams that are 3-1.
Imagine if this was like. Imagine if this was champs qualification right here.
That'd be crazy. That'd be fucking insane. Atlanta FaZe not going to champs? No way, man.
Ravens the #1 seed for champs.
LAG are 6-12 in last place. Map count.
Jesus. Yeah, that's definitely not good.
They're lucky that Vault exists. I'm telling you, if Vault did not exist, this team would be even worse.
Just for audio listeners, we got Carolina at #1, Toronto 2, Thieves 3, OpTic 4. So that's your top 4 right there. Bottom 4 is LAG in 12th, Vegas 11th, Atlanta FaZe in 10th, and Vancouver in 9th. And then, of course, you got your 5th through 6th. You got Boston Breach 5, Rocker 6, Miami Heretic 7th, and Cloud9 at 8. Only teams 3-0 are Carolina, Toronto, and LA Thieves. So those are the only 3 teams that haven't lost yet. So we'll see who gets handed the first loss over there. But pretty cool to see the standings at this time of year. We'll see how this changes throughout the year here. But Benjay, you want to hit a putt and sync us out or what, man? We got some channel point predictions coming in. Okay, so every day people have been throwing order channel points on you making it, Ben. But now it's pretty half and half. People are doubting.
Ben's like 1-4, bro.
They are doubting the putt skills from you, Benjay.
I've been slumping, but I did get like a 50 bomb today when I was streaming on Twitch.
I watched Ben miss 6 putts this morning.
I fear Ben is dog shit at Treyarch games.
Ben got a 50 bomb in his chat, and I watched him miss literally 6 putts.
No way, dude. That's insane,
for
bro.
what it's worth.
Wait, are you being for real?
I'm being so serious.
You missed 5
Ben
putts,
looks dripped
bro?
out right now. Look at him.
Benjamin is dripped out. Got those slippies on. He's stepping up and he sinks the ball. Nice. And look at this guy go. And he's got the flank merch on.
The flank merch, ladies and gentlemen.
What a legend. What a legend.
How you doing?
Hey, down. Well, listen, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Thought we had a great show. I really appreciate everybody who tuned in and locked in with us, bro. The energy in the chat today was fucking insane, bro. You guys are real trolly today. Ben, they were trying to get you to hit a putt mid-show. You might need to do that next time. You might need to hit a putt.
No, why are we just switching up? Just because fucking LA Thieves is in here asking for it doesn't mean
yeah, scrapping Dan Gosi in the chat, getting them going. But guys, thank you so much for all the support and both the watch parties and the shows. The energy has been insane. I really appreciate just everybody who's been coming in, just all the support. You guys are nuts, man. We will be back tomorrow doing the same thing all over again. And then we got a little bit of a break, guys. Ben said about a month. I thought it was 2 weeks. I thought it was 2-3 weeks. Apparently,
it's like basically a fucking month. Basically.
Apparently, it's almost a month. So, you know, we're going to be gone for a little while. Maybe we'll do like a little break tier list or something, like a tier list episode or something. Like maybe we'll figure some stuff out. But we will be back tomorrow. With another episode, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites are on. Go follow @theflank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials per usual. And then, of course, ZooMaa.gg for the merch. I don't think we have any merch up there right now, right, Benjay? We're going to have to get another setup there. So if you guys...
We are...
Is it still in there? Is it still up?
No, stuff got taken down just because obviously when it got delivered. There is still Stallions merch up there if you want to cop a Stallions jersey.
Absolutely. They're at Atlanta event today.
I will say, yeah, Atlanta event now. If you order it now, you may not get it before Christmas, FYI. And we will be having merch next year. In fact,
you gotta get these beanies back in stock, bro.
Yeah, the beanies are fire, bro.
This beanie's so nice.
I told FaZe we gotta get beanies in there, bro. They're lit. They're awesome. I've wore all mine.
Here's one thing for the YouTube chat. We've obviously done hoodies, we've done sweatpants, we've done shirts, we've done beanies. What other stuff would you guys like to see us do in 2025?
Drop it in the YouTube comments, man. In the YouTube comments, if you guys want to drop down below, if you guys have any ideas of what you want to see. Bro, we were thinking about doing mouse pads, and I also got a controller on the way, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, mouse pads or keyboards or keycaps or whatever you guys want to see. You know, somebody said condoms. What's wrong with you, brother? Go for a walk. You know what I mean? But yeah, guys, we'll definitely get some more stuff for you guys. So just stay tuned for that. And guys, if there's any designers, man, please join the community on Twitter. It's spotlighted to my profile. Any designers, if you guys have like cool designs or cool shirts and you drop them in the community, man, I mean, if we see some cool shit, bro, we'll definitely throw it up in the store. We'll definitely get those designs over and get them out there. So if any designers want a chance to get their designs up there on the store, just drop it in the community, and I'll take a look at some of that stuff. But, guys, thank you so much. I love every single one of you. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Brush your hair. And we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Flank, man. Take it easy. Slowly.